Well, mine's already open, so. Hello! Welcome back to Basement Movie Room. We switch places, I realize. You're usually on the right. But
yeah, over at my house, I'm always on.
Yeah, it's okay. So, we're back, and sorry you didn't get a video last week, but we're going to make up for that. We'll have one out hopefully the next 3 weeks. Tonight, we watched, if you can see it, it's maybe a little too bright back there, 3 Outlaw Samurai. I believe that was made in 1964. I don't know for sure, but I think so. Directed by somebody whose name I can't pronounce, but yeah, and starring people who I don't know.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't. I should have brought the case over here so I could read it off the back of the case, but I didn't, so that's over with. Nonetheless, the movie follows, initially you meet a samurai walking, I don't know, just through a muddy field, and he happens upon a meal where he finds this hairpin laying out there, and he hears a woman scream. So he goes in to investigate what's going on, and he finds out that these 3 peasant men had kidnapped the magistrate's daughter. The magistrate's basically the little warlord in this area, who's an underling of the main lord. So they kidnapped the magistrate's daughter to try to get the magistrate to treat them better, because they're starving, they don't have any money, obviously, so they did this, just try to get better conditions. It's the best thing they could think to do. They're starving, they're desperate. So this samurai goes in there, and at first you think he's kind of going to end this, he's going to help the girl, but he says, no, I'm just going to hang out here and watch what happens with this. So he does. He just sits there. They try to attack him. He beats them up. He has no problem. They're no challenge for him or anybody, basically. So he's there to kind of coach them on what to do is what he starts to
almost seemed like he almost had a beef himself with the magistrate.
Yeah.
And he was going to use these guys as pawns to, like he had his own beef.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking at the beginning.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't ultimately turn out that way, but it could have.
Yeah.
It could have. But
that was the feeling at the beginning.
He probably doesn't particularly like those kinds of people. I think he identifies more with the peasants than he does the lords. And I think he's taking pity on them. He understands where they're at. So he knows they're going to come for these guys and they're going to kill them. So he decides to stay, and he doesn't say he's going to help, but he does end up helping them. And then the magistrate, after this first encounter happens, and the magistrate, where the samurai runs off the magistrate's men, and they still have this magistrate's daughter. So the samurai runs them off, and the magistrate decides to hire this bunch of, I don't know, they're samurais, but they look like thugs. They're not real samurai per se. They are, but they aren't. So he hires these guys, and he wants them to go out and basically end this. Well, they go out with another guy that he had some guys in cells there as well, and he sends them out and says, hey, I'll forgive your misdeeds if you go out and solve this. And one of them in there is a samurai, and this samurai goes out, and there's this whole scene with that other group at a different place where they send a guy out, and this samurai that goes with him ends up killing this guy because he tries to attack him. But then the samurai that was in the jail cell, when they get to the mill where they're holding this girl hostage, or wherever, I think it was the mill, or the mill was another place, or wherever they were. But they're holding this girl hostage. He's like, oh, I'm just going to join these guys, you know? So then you got your 2 samurai. Your 2 outlaws.
There's a lot of scenes that are just so quick.
Yeah, it's very quick.
It's like, whoa.
But in the meantime, he kills one of the peasants that tries to attack him. And it ends up this peasant was the husband of this one lady, and he feels really bad about it after he joins them. He doesn't tell her that right off, but later on he does end up telling her, and a very weird relationship forms out of that, to be honest.
Fell in love after
kind of a weird part of the movie, but yeah, I guess it works okay. So he joins up with Sheba. Sheba's the name of the main first guy we met, and then the second guy, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Oh, Sakura. Sakura. Yeah. Sakura was his name.
Sakura. The sushi place we like.
Yeah, which I think means like cherry blossom maybe or something in Japanese. I think something like that.
Freeloader.
And then you got Freeloader.
Yes.
Freeloader is working for the magistrate, but you can tell he's really just there for the money and the food, basically.
Yeah.
And
he pretty much says that.
Yeah, he does say that. That's why they call him Freeloader at one point. and you can tell he's kind of an outsider too, like these other two samurai. He's not like all these other people that live the high life in the Lord.
He just kind of hangs in the background.
Yeah, definitely in the background. And you get the feeling that he's probably going to be our third outlaw samurai as to the title of the movie. His name's Kikyo, I think is what his name was. I think that's right. And he has a girlfriend that lives there, and she gets killed later in the movie, and that kind of sets him on the path to go out with the outlaws. But yeah, so the movie totally builds to these outlaws joining forces, and you're kind of getting that through there. So you got Shiba and Sakura who have joined up pretty quickly, and then you got Kikyo who's kind of playing both sides for a while. He doesn't really want to get involved because he understands the peasants' plight, but he also doesn't want to lose his job, so he wants to stay there. But he also feels bad for him. So, and at one point, and I'm just going to spoil the movie. You might as well. It's made 40 years ago.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, we're like 50 years away from this movie at this point.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is they send a large group of men, including like the bad samurai, out, and they bring one of the peasants' daughters that they've captured, and they're torturing her to try to make them give up Aya, which is the magistrate's daughter. Yeah. And so Gasuko is one of the peasants, and his daughter basically says, don't release her. You have to do this. Like, I'll die. I don't care. So Gasuko doesn't want that to happen. So he runs out with Aya and tries to give her back, but his daughter kills herself by biting her own tongue off and like, I guess, suffocating herself to death on her own tongue. I don't know. It's very weird. It's quick death for that kind of thing.
It was very odd.
So she died. So Gasuko tries to kill Aya. Shiba stops him, and Shiba goes up. The magistrate's there, and Shiba goes, "Don't punish these peasants. They were only doing this because you're not doing your job, basically. And I'll give you Aya back, but you can't punish them. Any punishment they were going to get, put on me, but don't kill anybody." 100, and he says like 100 clubs on the back. So the samurai, Shiba's like,
between two samurai.
Yeah.
This is our deal.
Yeah, this is our deal. All these people were witnesses.
Yeah.
And there were other samurai there that were witnesses. So he said, "I'm going to take this punishment." So they take him. Aya's free, gone back to the castle, and they start punishing him with the whips to the back, and it shows that. But then, of course, the magistrate breaks his word and goes and throws him in a cell after the punishment, and has those loser samurai go out and kill the three. Junpei was his name, I think. The main guy, Yasuko, and the other guy who I don't even know. Junpei, yeah. And the other guy that was with him that kidnapped Aya. So he kills them, and then he, of course, double crosses the samurai that helped him, the kind of dirty samurai, and hires one of them. One of them's a bad guy. One of them's like a turncoat, and goes back, and he hires a couple of hitmen to go out and kill them all. They kill all those samurai. And then they decide,
the hitman's introduction was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's kind of like
the gods of death.
Yeah, they're supposed to go out and pay money to these samurai that say they have this thing that Junpei wrote that they're going to give to the Lord if they didn't pay him 100 ryo, which is a ton of money apparently. So those two guys show up in the woods and like, "Oh, we're the gods of death." We're gonna, and they kill everybody along with help from the turncoat that's in the group. So during that time, Shiba's in a cell. Sakura decides he has to go rescue him, and so he goes to rescue him. Or is it Sakura who goes to rescue him?
Yeah,
it is.
Because he kind of brought up the plot hole there, how he knew where he was.
Yeah, there was a weird plot hole there, but he went to rescue him. He calls it a distraction, where he gets another peasant lady that works at the magistrate's place to help him let Shiba out of the cell. Well, she dies, but she gets him out of the cell. She dies for the cause as well. I mean, these people are dedicated to their cause. Her and the jailer get into a fight, and she stabs him. He stabs her. She dies, but Shiba gets out of the cell, and Kikyo comes in and like helps Shiba. It's not, he kills a guard, helps Shiba, leaves weapons for him. Shiba gets out and gets away, figures out that what's happened, that the magistrate has killed all the peasants that he helped against his word. So Shiba's done. Shiba's done with the magistrate at that point. So basically it ends up with Shiba coming in with Kikyo, who's abandoned his post, obviously, and joined. and Sakura, who actually does turn on the other two because they capture Oine, which is Masuke's wife that he killed, and he's in love with her now.
Yeah.
So they capture her. They're like, "You got to come with me. We captured her. You're gonna have to come, or we're gonna kill her." Mm-hmm. So he goes and says, "Well, they're at the mill." I mean, everybody knew they were at the mill. I don't know the point in that. Yeah. But they let Sakura and Oine go, and they're leaving, and Sakura's like, here sees the battle going on. There's from the main lord, one of his soldier groups comes through and is going to help put down this peasant rebellion. So Sakura sees this and he's like, I can't leave my friends alone. He runs off to help Shiba and Kikyo. And there's a large battle. The three outlaw samurai fighting.
We finally got them united.
And you have a nice big battle at the end that's fantastic.
It kind of reminded me of the last movie we watched, Thousand Sword.
Blade of the Immortal.
Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah,
sorry.
Blade of the
Thousand Swords.
Very similar battle.
Yeah, that battle, except there's three of them.
Yeah, there's three of them, and not as many. Yeah, not as many. There's like probably 50 guys they take on, as opposed to like 400, like in Blade of the Immortal.
But like just the movements. It's very similar.
Yeah. And you talked about the choreography a lot.
Yeah,
it's very good choreography. I said it wasn't like clean choreography.
It was realistic.
It's dirty. It's realistic choreography. They're not perfect, They're kind of like elbowing and kicking
around and just
swinging the sword.
What you would do.
Yeah,
if you were in that kind of fight.
And they get injured. I mean, Kikyo gets his arm sliced, but then there's like the final showdown with the Lord's main guy that's coming through. Mm-hmm. And Shiba does, says, no, I started this. I'm going to finish this, and takes the guy on. And it wasn't much of a fight, to be honest.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
Yeah, there was some comparison where they kind of backed him up to a cliff where they couldn't go, so they had to fight their way out. Doesn't end the same way.
No, when they're both stuck in that.
Yeah.
The mill.
They're in the hut.
They're about to come out.
Yeah, and they burn it. Yeah.
It was very simple.
But it's terrific. Oh, Aya also helps Shiba escape because she's kind of realized that her father's an asshole, and he's being evil to these peasants, and he's not keeping his word. So she actually helps him escape.
And she was falling.
Yeah, she was falling for him. She wanted to go with him, and he's like, no, woman. He pushes her off and leaves.
You don't want this.
Because he understands that that's not a life for this noble girl. He can't do that.
She can't eat porridge like the rest of them.
No porridge all the time. Worst word ever. Porridge. Yeah. So I mean, it's terrific. Yeah. It's a really terrific movie.
And you brought up the how close these samurai movies are to westerns at the time. And it is very evident with this movie, especially.
Yeah, the western.
The music was.
They could replace the swords in this movie with guns and cowboy hats, and you got a fantastic western on your hands.
If you closed your eyes and listened to this soundtrack or the score, you would think it was a western for sure. So a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great. It's like, the westerns and samurai films were being made at the same time, and they were very similar. I mean, the settings for the westerns was obviously like 1800s. The setting for samurai films was probably like 1600s, 1700s, but they have the same premise. Most of them are like, lone gunmen going in to protect a town or help peasants. They all have that same thing, lone swordsman. But it's a great movie. I've always heard it's good. This is the first time I've watched it, first time you've watched it as well. I bought the Criterion disc off of like Facebook Marketplace because I saw it for sale, and I was like, I want to give that a try, and I figured we'd do a review on it because we were in our Samurai month, which is like more like Samurai month and a half. But I mean, it's really good. The direction is good. The music is good. It's almost like he said, a typical, western soundtrack.
It's typical 60s.
60s.
Western.
Yeah. A lot of louder drums at times, and just kind of like
little flute or whatever.
All that
instrument.
All that for sure. But so direction's good, sounds good.
Little quick in spots.
Some goofy parts.
It was really good. Oh, I laughed. I laughed a few times.
Some of the running parts are really funny, like you said.
They're running at the camera, and it's just the way. It's kind of hysterical.
Yeah, it's always very funny.
Yeah, a couple of those parts where I just busted out laughing, and then a lot of quick parts where you're like, whoa, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What is this now?
Yeah.
So you really got to kind of pay attention.
And that Masuko guy, they showed a whole scene with, I drew the short straw, and then he dies like 5 seconds later. We were like, was that the guy they just showed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it came back around.
Definitely did.
So
yeah. Overall, terrific movie.
Yeah.
For sure. What are you gonna rate it?
Out of a 5, I think I got to give this a 4.2.
4.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I waffled on this one. I honestly almost gave it a 5, but I think I'm going to go with a 4.5 because it does have some kind of silly parts, some stuff that could probably be cut out.
The silliness and then the quick edits.
Yeah, and there's some parts where you can
me off a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
there's some parts where you can definitely tell that it's camera speed up, like the action's kind of sped up, you know, which is fine. It's the 60s. I understand that's how they had to do it. But yeah, I mean 4.5. It's a fantastic samurai film. It's one of the best out there. I've always heard that. But
only an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, quick movie to get through, and very interesting throughout. Doesn't lose your attention.
Makes sense with a lot of those quick cuts. So
yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I enjoyed it. Right. I think we're both on the same page.
Watch 3 Outlaw Samurai. You'll enjoy it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Put that in.